This is the continuation of the basics of Bhagavad Gita, based on the thematic study of Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. So it was told earlier on that all the universes move back into Mahavishnu when he inhales, and everything is quiet in the material energy till the next time of the creation. And when Mahavishnu breathes out again, the creation takes place again. And in this way, the material world undergoes an eternal cycle of creation. So we shall continue from there. The material world is like a spider's web. So what are the similarities between the two? Just as the spider spins its web and after a while wind it back into itself, similarly, Maya, the Lord's illusory energy, is created. So, similarly, the Supreme Lord creates this material world and after a while pulls it back within himself. Now, as the spider's web traps many flies and other insects, similarly the illusory power, Maya, of the material energy traps and binds those spirit souls who are rebellious to the God and wish to enjoy independent of Him. Just as the insects in the web struggle hard to free themselves only to discover that they have become more tightly bound, similarly the living entities in the material world, they struggle hard against the stringent laws of material nature to avoid misery and to gain happiness, only to find themselves immersed in greater suffering. The struggle for freedom becomes the very cause. Can only get free when someone from outside the web frees them. Similarly, the living entities which are bound in this material world by the shackles of Maya can only be freed when someone who is already free frees them. So why is this so? Because the living entities are in ignorance. They do not know the nature of their bondage in the illusory energy and how to get free from it. So before we talk of freedom, let us first discuss the nature of bondage. So what is the nature of bondage in the material world and how does it work? To know this, we will have to understand the concept of the three modes of material nature or the three gunas. The three modes of material nature, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 verse 5 that Prakriti or the material nature is constituted of three qualities or the gunas. First is the Sattva Gun, the mode of goodness, then it's Rajagun, the mode of passion, then Tamogun, the mode of ignorance. These gunas, they bind the living entity. Everything in the material creation is characterized and influenced by these three modes. The modes are all-pervading. Now consider the three primary colors, red, yellow and blue. By mixing blue and yellow, we get green. By mixing red and yellow, we get purple. By mixing red and blue, we get purple. And by further mixing and overmixing all the colors of the wide varieties in this world, they are created. I think I said wrong earlier on. By mixing red and blue, we get purple. Sorry for misreading. Similarly, the mixing and further intermixing of the three modes yields all the possible combinations to create the unlimited variety of species in this world. Everything in the material creation can be classified according to the three modes. Here is just a sample. None of the three modes exist purely in the material world. They are always mixed together in varying proportions. For example, cow is in the mode of goodness or Sattva Gun. Among the animals, lion is in the mode of passion, Rajagun. Monkey is in the mode of ignorance, that is Tamogun. And humans are they are beyond the three modes. They are supposed to be spiritual. And in the time, early morning is in the mode of goodness, Sattvagun. The daytime is in the mode of Rajagun or the mode of passion. The nighttime is in the mode of ignorance or Tamogun. And any time which is for serving for Krishna is beyond the three modes, that is spiritual time. And among the places, forest is in the mode of goodness, sattva-gun. City is in the mode of rajagun, passion. The bars, they are in the mode of ignorance, tamogun. The temple, it is beyond the three modes, it is in spiritual. And in the food, fresh fruits, vegetables and grains are considered to be in the mode of sattva-gun, goodness. Spicy food is in the mode of goodness, is in the mode of passion, rajagun. Meat and liquor are in the mode of ignorance, which is tamogun. And prasadam is in the mode of, is not in any mode, it is beyond the three modes, it is spiritual. And among the object of worship, demigods, they are in the mode of goodness, sattva-gun. Powerful men, they are in the mode of passion, rajagun. Ghosts and spirits, they are in the mode of ignorance, tamogun. And Lord Krishna is beyond the three modes. Lord Krishna is spiritual. Now, the bondage due to the three modes. The word guna also means ropes. The three modes are the ropes that bind the conditioned soul to this material world. Sattva-gun is like a rope of gold. Rajagun is like a rope of silver. Tamogun is like a rope of iron. If one is bound as a prisoner in a jail, does it matter if the ropes are made of gold, silver or iron? A prisoner is a prisoner after all. The nature of such bondage is described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verses 6 through 9. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and is free from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 6. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. Because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 7. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 8. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance one knowledge binds one to madness. This is Bhagavad Gita, verse 9 from chapter 14. All living beings are thus puppets in the hands of the material nature. That is, puppets in the hands of the nature of the three gunas, but due to the influence of Maya, they think themselves independent. They think they are the doers, while actually it is the three modes that do everything. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prakritehe kriyamanani gunehe karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 27. Translation: the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. Now, the characteristics of the three modes. We may thus summarize the characteristics of the three modes as follows. Purity, happiness, and knowledge is the general characteristics of the sattva-gun. Unlimited desires, hard work, greed, and worldly pleasures, they are the general characteristics of the rajagun. And foolishness, sleep, laziness, intoxication, and uncleanliness, they are the characteristics of the tamogun. Now, what is the result of the sattva-gun? It is freedom from sinful reactions, and the result from the rajagun is bondage to worldly activities and misery. The result from tamogun is madness and foolishness. And if one is in sattva-gun, their next birth will be in heavenly planets. In rajagun, it will be amongst worldly people on the earth. And in tamogun, they'll be born amongst the animal kingdom and hellish planets. Krishna is beyond the three modes. Being the master of three modes, Krishna is forever transcendental to them. He can never come under their influence. Only those who are themselves under the influence of the three modes think that Krishna is under the influence of three modes. He says, Tribhir guna maya mayer bhaver ibhi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mam ebhyah param avyayam. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 13. Translation: deluded by the three modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me who am above the three modes and inexhaustible. Maya dhakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat vipari vartate. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 10. Translation is, this material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rules, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Real freedom. Real freedom is to transcend the three modes, that is to break the bondage of the three ropes. This is practically impossible to do because the modes are very powerful and insurmountable. But Lord Krishna gives us the way out. Daivi hi aisha gunmai mama maya duratayaya mam eva ye prapadayante mayam etam tarantite. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 14. Translation is, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Thus it is only by coming to the transcendental platform of the devotional service to Lord, one can experience real freedom and return to our original spiritual home in the Vaikuntha planet or the Vaikuntha world. Thank you for joining, and we shall continue. Hare Krishna.